So you pivoted, you built like 800 units, and you're going to continue to build. But what has been harder, doing a 100 unit or 200 unit ground up construction in Midtown, downtown Manhattan, or building this platform? You got to choose your poison, people. It's all going to be painful. So choose your pain wisely. What do you think?
I work out of necessity. All right. It was a necessity to have to pivot, not because I wanted to pivot. I still would be developing and building only. I was required to pivot. So in the development game, you're also taking specific amount of risk. I developed a building where I got punched in the face in reality and was down $15 million on a personal judgment. You can't develop and build without a balance sheet. Settled that in 24 and we started coming back in the development sector. But what are you going to do during that time? How are you going to make revenue? We talk to these kids all the time about it. You need revenue, and where do you invest that capital? Development is an investment, but you got to make money, which is like for yourself. You're an owner and a broker. Brokerage brought the revenue, and then you're applying that in the space that you're comfortable. So it's not what's easier. You do what you have to.
What's going on, guys? Chris Okada here. Today we are back at the $1 Billion Club in NYC. My name is Chris Okada, CEO of Okada & Company, a commercial real estate brokerage and investment company. And today we have an incredible guest, Mr. Eric E. Breezy Brody. Let's give him a round of applause. All right, the $1 Billion Club is a weekly show we created to celebrate, learn from, and network with some of commercial real estate's biggest deal makers. We call it the $1 Billion Club because in New York City, you need $1 billion in sales, AUM, or a portfolio to be considered a real player. But we welcome everyone to hang out, learn from, and many times we have a baller-ass guest. And today we have Mr. Eric Brody. But before that, my co-host is Mr. Mike D, New York City office guy. All right.
How we doing, guys? Catch me in Soho, Tribeca, repping a lot of our buildings. Love 55 Beach. Shout out to the Oveds.
Shout out to
your intro.
Shout out to bad baby for you taking her line. Catch me outside. Yeah.
Outside.
How about that?
I don't want to be about the ad.
She makes $50 million.
No, not anymore.
Are we gonna get into OF? Is that where we're headed here? Yes, we should all leave and get OF.
If you guys don't know Eric Brody, you have been living under a rock, which is fine. The 5 of you that don't know him, you need to follow him immediately. Eric Brody is an accomplished developer and investor here in New York City with 20 years of experience. And he, as the son of an architect, it's in his blood, but he took that ball and ran with it, built 800 units across the city, totaling $1 billion in development. Understanding that development and the need, he created and founded the platform called Annex Real Estate Partners, a real estate capital advisory firm. Long story short, he knows how to put deals together. He knows how to build stuff,
Make money.
He knows how to fund it.
That's right.
Thank you so much for coming here to the $1 Billion Club.
Chris, if there's a couple people in this universe that were always behind me, always assisted, and I think the young guys need to know, half people won't pay attention to you and half will. You have always been by my side, so I always appreciate you, man. And
You're the man. And we were neighbors for at 894 6th Avenue for like 10 years.
10 years.
That's crazy. So,
on to bigger and better things.
But tell us about Annex. Tell us about your platform, and what do you guys do?
So really important. I always tell everyone, you got to be able to say it in one sentence. So Annex Real Estate Partners does 2 things really well. 1, raise capital and execute on your project. So if you need debt or equity, you need to know those that are interested within that segment. That is called debt equity brokerage or capital advisory, and that is what we do. The second thing that I think is important, what people need to realize, is you have to capitalize on that transaction. We saw it with Compass. We see it with Redfin. We see it with like Built Rewards. And everyone is, what are the different ways you can make money on that transaction? So the second thing we're really good at is asset management and development. So if someone comes into me, they're missing a piece of the puzzle and it's capital, boom, we'll bring it. But maybe they also need a co-GP on that asset. We'll do it as well. So last year we closed on 4 projects right now that we're building, developing, and financing. And right now in the pipeline is massive. But that is what we do. But we have some differences, and we can go into that if you like.
Yeah, I would like to say, so you pivoted, you built like 800 units, and you're going to continue to build, but what has been harder, doing a 100-unit or 200-unit ground-up construction in Midtown, downtown Manhattan, or building this platform? Like both, you got to choose your poison, people. It's all going to be painful, so choose your pain wisely. What do you think?
You know, I work out of necessity. All right. It was a necessity to have to pivot, not because I wanted to pivot. I still would be developing and building only. I was required to pivot. So in the development game, you're also taking specific amount of risk. I developed a building where I got punched in the face in reality and was down 15 million on a personal judgment. You can't develop and build without a balance sheet. Settled that in 24 and we started coming back in the development sector. But what are you going to do during that time? How are you going to make revenue? We talk to these kids all the time about it. You need revenue, and where do you invest that capital? Development is an investment, but you got to make money, which is like for yourself. You're an owner and a broker. Brokerage brought the revenue, and then you're applying that in the space that you're comfortable. So it's not what's easier. You do what you have to.
I got to say, for all the hustlers out there in New York City and nationwide in commercial real estate, 2020 to 2025, being an owner sucked. It was so bad. I don't care what anyone has to say. I don't care who it is, because usually they say you make the money when you buy the deal and all that. But if you bought wrong, and wrong was a decade long, wrong was really a decade.
I mean, if you took the wrong financing at the wrong time, and we've all seen the headlines, a lot of people got hurt. I mean, can you tell us the story of what happened?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I completely agree with both of you. Now, on the flip side, there will be people that will state that they killed it, but most of the time in real estate, you're sort of diversifying your portfolio. In one place, you did really well, in one place, you get rocked. I will tell you today that no one's going to pay attention to if you walk in the room and said everything that you did was right. I don't care who you are. If Blackstone is selling, BlackRock is selling at a loss, you all are. They're smarter than you. They recruit better than you. They have more intelligence and data analytics, and they were making the wrong decisions. Let me guess. Unless you run in and say, oh, my God, I was so lucky, it's a fallacy. So don't come in with that story. No one believes you.
Yeah.
So what happened to me was as follows. And development, which is interesting, which we're talking about, is a moment in time. Real estate is cyclical. So if you're just thinking, and I thought this way, I just develop and I win and I develop and I win, at any moment you're going to get your head chopped off, okay? Because you can't mitigate the risk on a future that's an unknown. You're taking that risk. So I'm putzing along, I'm developing. I went from a 20-unit building, an 8-unit building, to eventually building a 21-story building on the Upper East Side. Then a black swan event happens called coronavirus. So at the end of the day, your investors are like, yo, we don't know if we're going to live or die. If you look at the press behind it, no one is blaming me. But if you don't blame yourself, you're not going to grow and you're not going to learn. So Corona hits. There's no capital markets. My investors are like, you're on the guarantee, not me. Peace, son. And you're hanging out there. And you know what the lender says? Like Paulie in Goodfellas? Do you know what he says?
Fuck you, pay me.
Fuck you, pay me. They don't care. It's like the Terminator. They're not necessarily, it's really important. Stay cool under distress. Don't curse them out and freak out. But the bottom line is, I give you money, you give me my interest, you give it back. That's it. So when you borrow money, they don't care about what the problem is. I got investors, they're back levering it. They got their own problems. You got to pay them back. And when we couldn't, they foreclose on the asset, they come after the guarantees, and boom, they won. So one day you wake up, you're negative $15 million. Then the question is, what are you going to do? And I was in an article with 4 developers. 2 wind up, killed themselves, right? Because how do you identify yourself, right? Of course, right?
Yeah.
How do you identify yourself, right? Like now as a businessman, this is America, and we're going to get into politics in a second. We're capitalists. If you're growing, it means you have value in this country. If you're down, it means you don't have value. So who are you? So that's basically what occurred, and that's where the real story of this comeback in Annex and everything that we're doing comes from. That moment, that was my bottom. If I was in AA, I'd stand up right now and say, I'm a recovering developer.
You gloss over it, but I gotta say, there are 3 stories of developers, young, under 40, that took their own lives, and that's how hard this market is and has been. And one was all over the New York Times. I'm not gonna say names, but there was a younger guy. He was like 31 years old, Brooklyn, Orthodox guy, and never heard of him. He was just at 31. You're just starting. You're, as you said, putzing along. The guy was putzing along, and I don't know how many the unit count. He didn't have 800, nowhere near, maybe 100, 150. But then, yeah, he ended it because it was less painful than going and hat in hand going to your partners, and maybe your partners are, I don't know. And the same thing goes in California. There was a gentleman, I never heard of him, heard about that story, and it's freaking painful. So, but
Here's the facts, Chris, because you're my demographic.
yeah.
How many Rockies, how many blood sports, how many Conans, how many when they got the comeback montage?
Yeah.
Right now, it doesn't take like a 30-second montage.
Yeah.
But are you real? Are you a warrior?
Yeah.
Right? They say fall down 7, get up 8. So in your life, if you get that moment, do you rise to the occasion? That's just the facts.
It's so underreported, though.
Well, because of shame. Nobody wants to talk about their shame.
So underreported.
What's it like coming back from that and then raising capital? I mean,
I tell people all the time, if you could take the blue pill or the red pill, take the fucking blue pill. Go back in the Matrix, I took the red pill. I saw the Matrix. What is it? It sucks. It's about sitting in discomfort. Do you believe in yourself because you're going to learn to believe in yourself, right? Especially us developers. We're externally validating. I'm the man because I built this thing. It's like everything is a phallus, right? Like, look at the building I built. Must be I'm a big swinging, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, now you got to go internally to see if the power is there. So it's uncomfortable. But for some reason, I always believed that I would come back. So when it comes to raising capital, different hustle. Okay, so now you have this skill set. I know how to build and develop. I can add value to you if you're trying to build and develop and you're raising capital, what your story should be, where you're not seeing that I saw on your construction and development, your contracts, your subcontractors, the asset type, what your risk is. So you bring domain expertise. But then the second thing is you start to learn about capital. Think about the universe of capital. They need a conduit to deploy money and make money. And guess what they don't want to do? They don't want to get dirty. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They need operators. They need someone who knows more about that asset than they do. So they're looking for you, okay? So that's the second thing, is understanding how money works. They want risk-adjusted returns. Is this a risk-adjusted return for them where they can deploy that capital? And guess what? Not everyone has $1 billion in the bank, and not everyone has done it for a long time. They need to take flyers on credible parties, right? So can I create a story that you're that party? The next thing that they need, and you saw it because Mark Rowan said it, I feel like in CRE Daily or The Real Deal, or whatever else we're trying to promote here, he said, it's not that I don't have capital, it's the deal flow. So now you say to yourself, how can you own deal flow? You guys are brokers. You know it's all about how much deal flow, because then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of a market. Those that need space, those that have space, I make a fee. So is there a universe where you can know all these people and drive it in? Which to me was a tech issue, which we can get into. So it's like, all right, I got to pivot. If I'm going to pivot, I'm going to be smarter than everyone else. I got domain expertise. What are the other things that are going to make me unique and change? And as Chris knows, we got into content together, right? Because CRE's got a problem with content. They think, oh, I'm going to say something and no one's going to like me, or half the people are going to hate me. Me, I'm like, half the people are going to like me? Damn, let's go, right? Like half the
Those
people are
are some
going to be in.
great.
That's a great number, right? Like everyone's got this
50%
fear of the 1%. Like, all right, you pissed them off. You're right. You're going to go to a meeting and they're like, I hate you. Get out. 100%. But I'm willing to take that risk. Then the other is, how can you automate? You're seeing it. We even spoke about it. You've got AI on your email. Imagine what else is available to automate your business as a broker. And to me, boom, tech was one part of the stool, content creation and domain expertise. And boom, it started to blow up where that's revenue. Now I can't help myself. I'm a developer. I take risks. So I make the money, I put it back into a deal.
So let me ask you about the platform. Are you coming from it? Are you reverse engineering your sort of exit with the EBITDA multiple? Do you play in that game? Are you looking for a 20, 30x on your EBITDA? Is that like the end game? Like, is there an end game? Like, how did you?
No, that's a dope question and really smart, because venture capital is this space over here, which is what you're saying. Like, yo, 2030 unicorn, right?
Yeah.
I raised a venture fund when I was rocked. People were like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a venture capitalist, right?
Yeah.
But not enough money. It was like paying a phone bill, you know? It's not a big revenue. What I got to watch, tech's application of real estate, and you see it, they're wrong. I'm going to sell you this SaaS. I'm going to sell you this data. All those data companies are worth half what they were because that's not the value. So I got to watch that it's not tech's application of real estate. You and the Neanderthal, the real estate professional, have to understand technology, use those gains, and apply it to your old school business to create an advantage. So instead of a brand new robot coming in and being Chris Okada, it's not Chris with like a chip implanted. It's like you got to start where the human is and then see its application for automation and disintermediation. So for me, I invested in these companies. 3 did well. By the way, the one that's killing it, robotics. So like, I didn't see that coming, right? AI came. But all the other ones, the SaaS, this, not so strong. Yeah. So the reality to us was you need to build something in-house for you, by you, for your advantage. And then you know what real estate says? Real estate goes, you do it, you show me it makes money, and then they're interested. You got to prove your point first. We're Machiavellian. We're real estate professionals. Show me the money, and then I'm interested. Otherwise, go hang out with your tech people.
Yeah.
Well, it's always funny. Like I always say, like people never ever want to lose a penny in real estate, but they'll throw money into the market. Like, you know,
dude, this market, by the way, let's take a side pivot. Yeah. You invest in the stock market at all?
Yeah.
A little bit? Dude, it is fucking
ripping,
crushing. I don't understand. We need a serious correction. And then that's when the real estate developers are like, it's safer here.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah,
good to see you.
Seven yield.
Right. I mean, I think you're seeing in the marketplace like a lot of these AI and tech infrastructure companies investing in each other, and how long that cycle can go, you know, who knows?
And there's very little opportunity in that big tech space, right? Because we work on financing of a lot of these data centers. The big boys own it, right? Now, what I think you'll be interesting is sort of the pick and axe theory, right? The gold rush happened in San Fran, but the ones that made the big money were the pick and axe companies, the suppliers to it. So it's like, what are the ancillary services? You and I are not investing in like what Meta is building on, or Google on some $20 billion campus. Let me tell you what they don't need. Your $100,000 or your $1 million, right? You're never getting in. Yeah. But it's like, what are the infrastructure that deal with real estate that we should be thinking about for the pick and axe theory?
Definitely data centers, a client of ours, good client, Thor Equities, shout out. They crushed it on a deal that they acquired, contracted with electric company, brought in electric, and then sold it to one of the big guys.
You said the big thing in that linchpin. Our grid can't handle the power that they need, which is interesting because one of my homeboys is like, you got to look at alternative energy sources to invest, even though, you know, like what should you invest in? Alternative energy?
Yeah.
But on the flip side, if you get power today, it's like you hit the lottery. Like they have to take your deal.
And it's like farmland. It's like middle America, nowhere, no one's around, like tens of thousands of acres.
And you want to talk about something interesting about capital? That's like 100% financing at like 4 or 5%, meaning you don't have to put $1 in that. You get that deal? Yeah, that's like you hit the lottery. People are like, I'll give you whatever money you need. I know that they're going to pay their bill.
Yeah.
Like that's like 99.999% financing. Like you don't even have to have equity in it.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit. You built 800 apartments here in New York City. Next week, we got a big mayoral election. Everyone's talking about it. What are your thoughts on the election? What are your thoughts on Cuomo, Zoran? What do you got? What are your
foremost? I think it's really important, and I always talk about this, even when we do deals and we go to like community meetings and people try to tear you apart as a developer. I grew up in NYC. Yeah. I am a Brooklyn native. I grew up and was born in 19... And let me tell you something. It was gangster here, okay?
Oh, it was crazy.
Graffiti everywhere, and so were you, right?
Yeah.
So people all forget. We didn't... It's funny. I went to college, and kids would be like, where are you from? And I'd be like, from Brooklyn. They're like, oh, we're from New York, too. And I'd be like, oh, my God, what neighborhood? And it'd be like Jersey, Westchester. And I'm like, it wasn't fun being here. You wanted to get out. It would have been nice for it to have been nice. Then Giuliani comes in with this broken glass theory, and all of a sudden, all the crackheads, all the needles we saw, the kids getting robbed, right? I used to keep money in my sock because they would ruffle through my clothes to get $1, right? Everyone forgets that you need a certain amount of sort of order. So now Mamdani comes, right? Or maybe he's coming. People think that that is a benefit. Now, remember, I'm a capitalist. Like, I want to make money. I want the city to grow. Okay. Yeah. And I get why socialism is taking over when it comes to student debt. I get it. But they have no experience about what their experience will be daily if you bring a social worker to a crackhead who's robbing you with a knife.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what happens. It's like we forgot we are humans. Humans are two things. We're animals.
Sure.
And we're the only party, an animal on earth, that is cognizant of their own demise, that we could die. So it's like, yo, we are smart, but we're also still animals. And we always forget that, as if there's a perception. Yo, that crackhead who needs the money, or if he's able to shoot up on the street, even on the blocks out here, like, there's a problem. It's going to affect real estate prices. So then people ask me, so what does that mean? That means you got to underwrite that today.
Yeah.
You need to underwrite this.
0% increase of rent, 0%. It's very, very hard. That means the yields are going to go up.
Well, and it's tough to quantify, right? Like, there are a lot.
0 increase in rents.
Well, I mean, I'm saying beyond that, right? Like, who knows if, like, so
you guys are in office,
Sure.
okay? And you saw a comeback. I'm speaking with these guys, and you're like, we're doing deals. We're getting. It's like the universe wanted to come back to New York. It does want to come back. Thank God the mayor doesn't, like, set every rule.
Yeah.
Businesses will be here. They'll get into their black cars and they'll go to that restaurant. They'll go back in. They're not going to feel it and see it in this, but like everyone else will. So do I think that the world collapses? No. But do I think capital is right now saying, like, we got to wait and see? Do I think that there's going to be impacts? Yeah. It's all perception.
Sure.
You know, it's all perception. Oh, free buses, they're going to turn to shit. Free grocery turn to shit.
Where do you get the money for all of that, right? Like, the city budget is already very, very, very tight.
-10 billion, right? That's what we're running at here in New York City, something like that.
And you already have,
that was Eric Adams's.
You already have the president saying, like, you know, this guy has to get money from me, and good luck with that. So,
listen, to me, I'm not excited about it. You want to ask me? Thank God my business is now national, you know? I like developing in New York and major cities, but we make money anywhere. So whatever that impact will be, that was something I learned from getting punched in the face when it came to development. You got to go elsewhere, right? Just look at the writing on the wall. If you don't get a steal on an asset, what are you taking risk today? What float are you getting? Oh, I think that, you know, rent's at $50 and they'll go to 55. Like, no.
What's your exit?
You know?
Who's exiting? Who's going to buy your exit?
Right? I have a guy, right? This billionaire out of Canada. We were looking at deals, all cash. And all of a sudden, he's not calling me back. He was up my butt about stuff. We were looking at deals, going to buy these notes, all this stuff. All of a sudden, I catch him on the phone. He goes, wait till after Mamdani. I'm busy. We got to go back to Monaco. And you're like, just like that. That's anecdotal, but that's what's happening.
Sure. Lots of wait and see on. In every industry, we have a deal, a very big deal, 495,000 feet, industrial deal, put it on pause, not only for local, but also for the tariffs. So, you know.
And we haven't felt the true effect of tariffs yet. Like, nobody has.
I have today. The tenant pulled out. He was like, I need to see, you know.
Those costs are going up and up.
Yeah.
And they have been for a while. I mean, ever since COVID, I feel like tenant build-out costs have just skyrocketed.
Well, costs are going up. I mean, the supply chain's going up. Labor costs are going up. Everything is getting more expensive. And I don't like these policies. I was never a socialist. I'm not, like, this is not my style. So I'm not excited.
Yeah.
But I'm also not moving. So
yeah, I hear you. But you came through today, this morning, and you definitely have great energy about you. And a lot of that has been and for those of his followers on Instagram, 5 a.m. club. Yes. Is it 5 a.m. club or 6 a.m. club? Whatever it is, 5 a.m. club. Dude, I don't know how you do it. And he's funny. He records himself every freaking morning. Not record himself, but he lets everyone know, like, what's up? I'm at the gym.
And funny enough, I sometimes work out and don't record myself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No. But, like,
man holds you accountable, right? Like,
here's the truth. I was an externally validating developer. Unfortunately, I get rocked, right? Sure. Then there's a whole personal side where I'm now divorced. We go through tough times. So when the definition of who you are as a man, a family man, a husband, and a businessman are taken from you, what are you? And what you learn is, and super important, is about self-awareness. You only live today, not the past.
Sure.
And not tomorrow. And you actually have to learn that. It's not this cliche thing, because if I'm thinking about the future, I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
If I think about the past mistakes, I'm like, oh my God, I made every bad decision, right? So you only have today. Otherwise, you're a miserable person.
Yeah.
So you start doing these things to learn about that, right?
Sure.
You start meditating, affirmations, journaling, and each one
You
solves
do all
different. 100%.
Oh, I love that.
And then it led to fasting, and it leads to working out. You start getting like a little crazy about it. But and you learn like when it's fun or when you're going to eat something shitty, it means something instead of just always being unconscious about it, right?
I'm totally.
And all these things is awareness, and awareness just means you are conscious of your thoughts. You are not your thoughts.
See, that's really interesting to me because I had a baby. My wife.
Congratulations, by the way. They're a freaking miracle. It's incredible.
It's a miracle. It's incredible. During her pregnancy, I really didn't gain much. Boom. When the baby came, it's been 4.5 months. Gained a lot of weight. So
you're truth.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Here's the truth. Yeah. Here's the truth.
Yeah.
Have empathy for yourself.
Sure.
That's a massive change.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're always going to be overweight, but it's just to say, I don't have shame anymore. People are like, oh, you talk about when you got rocked. Why do I have shame? I'm coming back. We're doing deals. Like, life is amazing, finding peace. I don't have a shame about it. You can't shame me.
Yeah.
Like, it happened. Like, that's the lens of reality. So for you, it's like, yeah, so what? You had a baby. That's a massive change.
Yeah.
You get used to that shit. You get into it, and then you change.
You know, I lost my consistency, though. I used to hit the gym 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and maybe hit the treadmill, in the weekend. Then it went to 3 post-pandemic, and now I'm lucky if I square off an hour at the gym a week. I thought I would never be here for like 8 years. I was a gym straight rat.
To give you some credit, like, your schedule has been flipped on its head since having a kid.
Yeah.
Your sleep is different.
But a year ago, it went from 5 days to 2 days. You know what I mean?
So let me be the first to tell you. Yeah. Stop being a bitch. Get back in it.
No, I love that. I love it. But that's why, like, I think that's highly, highly respectable.
I'm thinking we got a new podcast where it's all of us fucking working out. You know what I'm saying? We got a new idea. You know?
No, they're not ready to see me with
the pack, Rumble. Everybody needs to call us up, get the real estate guys in there or other shit. We should start doing a whole fitness thing.
No, because, you're a father, you're building a platform, and you're hitting the gym. Like, it's a lot.
Well, you know what it really comes down to? Like, what's your
doing
priority?
Deals?
What's your priority, right? Me.
Yeah.
And by the way, really important, you need to be centered around the self, okay? And the reason is you're a better father, you're a better husband, you're a better businessman when you take care of you, 100%. So, like, you have to be the best. That's Jordan Peterson. It's like, worry about your shit first, right? Boom. Then you have children, so you're focused and care about what's going on with them, and the better that you are, the better your father you are. Then you have your business, right? And that helps all of those things. It's like, those are your priorities. So when you're thinking about your day, you're like, did I do this, this, and this? These are my priorities.
Yeah.
Easy. So then that exterior shit's like, yo, I'm going to go get a drink, or I'm going to wake up tomorrow in the gym. You're like, well, I'm a better father, I'm a better husband, I'm a better businessman if I'm not hammered. And everyone's like, I don't know, but the deal happens at the thing. Cut the shit.
No, that's not. That's definitely not true. I used to drink a lot.
Mike D, on the other hand, single man downtown. Listen to these old men. Has a girlfriend. Has a girl. He said that.
Friend's name.
Jen.
Shout out to you. Got to look.
Shout out to Jen. Yeah, right. He has a girlfriend. Hit her up for the resident entertain. He has to entertain her, so you get to go out. Don't be like us old guys.
Yeah, no.
In moderation, though. I mean, like, I certainly used to.
Do you hit the gym?
I'm getting back into it. Back into it.
So E-Breezy on a push-up contest got us both.
Definitely. Oh, definitely.
Probably. Definitely.
Right now, definitely.
Give me a couple million.
Western how a weighted value. Right. I'm like 6'1.5".
6'1.5", and you're under 2.
Under 200 right now. We're going down to like 185. Get ripped.
Wow, that's like sub 10%.
We're thirst trapping. Once you see it, we're thirst trapping.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're going to 1 million followers on the abs, baby.
You got to do the slow-mo running through the streets of New York with the shirt off and racing dogs.
Where I go by Chris. I'm like, hey, Chris, just randomly. And all of a sudden, hosted. Oh, look, I saw Eric.
I'll be in a suit.
Well, we'll have to do a revisit.
100%.
going back to your platform.
Yes.
What does it mean to boil the ocean when you say?
Okay, this is great. Okay, so here's the thing. Real estate makes a lot of money, so they don't like changing their behaviors.
Yeah.
So unless you get kind of punched in the face in the game that's MMA
And
fight
you will,
life,
you will.
and which I was, you had to look at the universe differently.
Yeah.
Tech's application of real estate is much different. The people who are in technology look at what we do differently. There's a great book in 2023 that came out, Automate Your Workflow. So the way that tech is looking and what it can do to change is, what are the redundant tasks that you do each day? And can you automate them? So when you look at tech and boiling the ocean, is it possible to know every deal that happens, every lender, every LP, every co-GP in the United States? Because we now have technology and the power to know that. Maybe it's 1 million, 1.5 million people if you take out construction and management. Literally 1 million, 1.5 million people. Can you find all of them, onboard them, communicate with them at scale? That's what I mean by boiling the ocean. To date, 250,000 people either do deals or have capital for deals am I communicating with at scale. I'm going to get that to 1 million.
Wait. Say that again. How many lenders do you have on your? Is it
So
it's a
lenders
it's a
is
platform,
different.
right?
So when I say platform, it's really important. It's not a platform for you, the consumer. Real estate is a high touch point service business.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be cool, wants to know you. Behind me or under the hood, everything is an automation. We currently have 3 engineers, and we just picked up 2 more on a firm that only has 8 people. That means it's almost 50% engineers.
Wow.
Because each human can do so much more today when they automate their workflow.
Yeah.
So I make more per person than most companies ever will, because everything is now humanly done.
Yeah.
Which is why you saw Goldman Sachs get rid of middle management, all those others. So the
I've
major
seen
companies understand what I'm stating. Real estate is already paid, and it's like, I'm not going to mess up the cart, right? So for me, I started out that way. So my point is, there's probably 1.5 million people in the United States and in the world who either have capital for real estate or are able to execute as sponsors on real estate. For me, I want to identify them, bring them to me, and the more that I find deals or capital for them, I get a fee.
Okay. Yeah.
Know everyone.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what's like? Oh wait, how old is Annex at this point?
About 18 months.
Oh, it's still. So you don't even have 24 months of like raw data for sales and all of that stuff. That's
I have
great.
way more than that, because you, instead of needing it in-house, you can what we call mine that.
Yeah.
So what people realize is they're paying fees to platforms for data, but data got super cheap. Now, they clean their data, quote unquote, but maybe you can clean your own data. So for me, I want a closed loop. It's my information that I gain from what is out there versus other data companies trying to sell you that data. I just get my own.
Okay.
Well, and I mean, that's really interesting. Like, a lot of the conversations that I've had with other professionals around the country, and especially at other firms, I mean, more on our end, the brokerage end of the business, is like owning your own data and what that means. You know, you see CoStar, for example, they're buying up companies left and right. They're trying to own all the data in the industry.
They're trying to roll up. And the reason is they took venture capital. Venture capital is high octane money. Okay, so they need to spend that money and then get the return. And what's happening is they're not going to be able to get that return because data is getting cheaper, right? You saw it. I think Joe Rogan spoke about it with this cancer doctor out of Stanford, where he goes, back in the day, I got paid a lot to figure out how to get the data. Now we have the data. Now I get paid a lot to find the patterns in that data, right? That's where the money is today. So it's shifted. So all the data guys, if you're not giving us information about that data to have actionable items, it's like, what's your value? You're just a data set? What does that do for me? Are you a data scientist? I'm not.
So do you guys still have like business development people calling people up,
So our thesis is threefold. Okay, so first is, can I automate communication? Yes. We speak to up to 2,500 people a day. Okay, now not enough Adderall that you could snort that you could do that, right? So it's like, how many phone calls could you make? We're not making too many phone calls. The phone call comes at the end of the funnel. Meaning, can I communicate with you to get you to react? Now, people will be like, oh, well, a lot of people do that. Agreed. But now we're doing it. to real estate professionals. Second is, how do you get someone to have a relationship with you without having to have a conversation, meaning you're going to play golf, networking, and the rest of it? Create content. Why? Content gets a perception of who you are. Now, you and I knew each other a decade before we were ever making content, but others don't. So that means when I email them, they're like, oh, snap, I want to talk to Eric. So then I automate a meeting and it pops up automatically of when I have that meeting. Then you communicate with them, and I'm a real estate professional. Like, okay, so he is credible. He's not full of shit. But the question is, how do you take a cold lead to a warm lead, right? Content. So it's a three-pronged approach, which is first, I developed 800 units and $1 billion. I own one of the largest open shop, non-union construction companies and development companies in the city for 18 years. Second, create content so people perceive a relationship. Third, automate that. And it's that creates opportunity.
Would you ever go back to really just focusing on being a ground-up developer?
We're building 2 buildings.
You are
it
building.
Never leaves
That's
me.
true.
And unfortunately, I have enough experience that it's just never going to stop.
Yeah.
Development is something that I enjoy and love. I just love it from a different place today. I love it for the feeling of bringing people together to execute something that's incredible, to have a vision about a project. So it's now just with so much more peace and love, and you're seeing it in the end product. So we got 48 units coming out. I just put an offer on an NPL that's coming out. So like tons. I will develop and build. But what I'll do is I'll just put people in place that fit the part that I need so that I can continue to promote, get the word out, because that's more scalable. Development's not very scalable. You can do dope projects and make a lot of money, but it's not like you can do 100 of them. So you got to pick and choose now on that, and then use the capital advisory as the income and revenue. The same thing you did.
Well, and especially if you're in all of those seats, you're probably getting double the deal flow than the next guy who's just developing buildings.
Well, that's right. Interesting, and I think it's important, is that real estate's Machiavellian. So all the things I just said sound really good, and a venture capitalist would want to invest in it. But a real estate guy would be like, yo, so what happened? So what did it create? Last year, no, not last year, in the last 10 months, I've seen 250 deals. Of the 250 deals, everyone would say, oh, top of funnel, they're shit. 200, dog shit. Never going to happen. Maybe they happen. I don't know about this year, next year. I don't know. 50, credible. Of the 50, I have term sheets out on 40 and closed 4. So it's like that is a calculable top of funnel. So next year, if it's 500, then 100 are good. Do I close 8? Do I close 12? Do I close 14? Who knows? But that is a tangible result of everything that we just discussed.
So the 250 deals top of funnel those are what, sponsors submitting that they require debt or equity to you?
So it's interesting, right? We think too linearly in real estate. Sponsor. What about a lender wants to sell a note? What about if it's an A note foreclosing on a B? What about if it's, there's a million different ways it comes in. And it's more about being entrepreneurial. It's who's the client and why, right? So it comes in, you look at it, you're like, yield on cost, 4%. You're like, dog shit, right? There's easy ways of knowing and sifting through it. The ones that are real, you're responding to. You're having a conversation. Maybe they're like, we'll get back to you. It goes back in the funnel, right? It's just constantly doing it, right? We talk about it all the time, especially in your space. You're like, are you on the phones? The person who picks up maybe a client in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I'm hitting them up 30 times in like 35 days. They're like, out of nowhere, he's hitting me up every day. They're thinking of me, right? Every time I see someone, I love your content. They just thought of me. I own mind space in their mind. And I don't know them that well, but they see me every day. And then when they have an opportunity, of the 3 people they know in the business, I'm one. I have a 33% chance all day.
That's interesting. And then so you sift out these 250, and then you find 50 that are plausible, of which you work on 40.
Well, now you're looking at them, you're bringing your expertise, you're communicating, here are the capital providers, or do you need a developer or an LOI, right? These are the ones that have opportunities out, asset management agreements, boom. And then you ask me, well, what's the future of it? Where's 50x tech to real estate? Well, if it becomes the ability to drive deal flow, and that deal flow is somewhat of a known quantity, that means capital needs to have what I'm doing. And then capital will say, I want to buy you. You're not buying me. We can merge. So now I have access to the $2 billion to get it on the street. But it was this funnel that we created that drove that deal flow. Now it isn't yet, right? Because if they came in today, they would have better terms. It's like each time I get better, do more things. Now these capital providers are trying to invest in the company. And I'm like, I came to you last year and you said, I'm not giving you $1. Now I don't need your money. So
So at this point, are you going to follow the traditional pre-seed, seed, A, B? Are you following that capital, like raising journey?
No.
Okay.
I don't want any outside capital. Right now, basically, the revenue that came in from the real estate business and the closing, we're reinvesting that. And if I want to accelerate growth and I have the right partner, fine. But right now, I went out and asked for money. And everyone's like, oh, we're not ready yet. You know what? Now I have money, so I don't need capital.
Yeah.
So now it would be someone super strategic, bringing something that has a lot of value to let me get to grow larger in order to give anything away.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Is there an exit, or like we talked briefly about this, like an end game of like,
Yeah, I think at the end
now.
of the day, what's interesting is everyone thinks it's a full automation. I think that it's a brand, it's credibility, and a lot of automation in real estate.
Sure.
And what do I think? Yeah, I think that a fund eventually says, we're your capital. Here's the money.
Yeah.
Now, they may have their own analysts and underwriters, although I don't even think that'll be relevant in a few years with the agentic AI, right? I just don't see it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'll be able to deploy more money than a lot of funds because I'm seeing more deal flow. They came to me, the funds, and said, you own deal flow, we're interested. Then I created a solution to owning deal flow. So now they're interested in that deal flow, and I'm seeing more deals than is humanly possible. And I'm seeing deals that people have known people 40 years haven't seen. You're just not in people's faces like I am. It's like, God damn, we got to talk to this guy. You can't do it. You didn't create that. You don't understand tax application of real estate.
That's so interesting.
And I'm influencing, which is corny, but it's
true. Truth. Even in our business, it's like I feel it sort of like the changing of the guard, right? The older brokers, some of which made a ridiculous amount of money, but they're still doing the same super, super old school business. And like the fundamentals will not change, right? You still got to lead generate every single day to make the money. We talk about this all
every
time.
day.
But the ones sales are not investing in technology. And that's something that like I really credit you for. Like, we're not the largest firm in the world, but you've invested heavily into technology.
And by the way, that's the model that will beat those guys because culturally, Chris is like, we invest in tech and we use it, which is a collaboration of ideas. Most of the big firms have tech, even have people in a venture fund and bring them on. Culturally, the big dogs at their firms can't change because if they were to give that to the firms, right, then they would have less value. So that's what's changing. For us in our firm, everyone gets paid. There's no competition on who you knew, who didn't, because I already know everyone.
Sure.
So you're not bringing anyone in. We've already communicating with them 100 times. So it's all a collaboration. It's a different model.
But this time, the last 3 years with technology and AI, it's just crazy. The rate of which things are moving, especially in real estate. Real estate is 20 years late always.
And what's interesting about it is real estate doesn't understand or realize. You can't just say, I'm tech now.
Yeah.
You actually have to take time to understand what it's capable of.
Yeah.
Who are the players in it? How you communicate with them the message of what you need, right? Real estate doesn't know how to communicate with tech to make a solution. Listen to tech guys. What's your problem? Tell me your problem, right? And you're like, what do you mean? You don't know my problem? No, they don't know domain expertise.
Sure.
But they do know technology. So they need to learn domain expertise. You need to learn about them and care about them so that they want to solve your problems. They're also humans at this point.
Yeah.
So for us, we created a team.
Yeah.
Each time that team's getting better. I'm going to be in an MIT hackathon. MIT reached out to me.
That's sick.
Right? And it's like, okay, now I'm having brains that I never could have thought solving a problem that you and I have in real estate.
Yeah. We hosted our first hackathon this summer. I think we had 150 submissions, of which I think we gave out to one person. And there's so many smart people out there, man. It's crazy. But
they got a problem.
They got a huge problem.
Their problem is they don't know how to make money.
Yeah.
And you do.
Yeah.
So they're looking for you the same way you're looking for them.
But they're, being a software engineer in 2025 is rough. We had 3,500 resumes in a month. In 2 weeks, I had to shut it off because we were just getting hammered and these applicants were emailing our staff and like just trying to get in. We had one position, we filled it. But, you know, being a capitalist, I just was like, wait a second, maybe I could pay less and less.
Well, what's interesting is you have to have faith that they're going to solve something for you.
Yes.
Technology is an iteration. You're going to say to me, and I'm going to say, well, how many more deals did you close? You're like, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But I know I'm getting more efficient. It will eventually be that because of that, you're doing tons more.
I hope
no one knows yet.
Yeah.
Which is why I talk about the 250 to the 50 to 40 term sheets to the closings. Like, all we have is the truth in our universe, which is real estate.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of it. We always end, and you're the best at this, okay? Two things. When it's all said and done in business or in life, how does Eric Brody want to be remembered as a human on planet Earth during this era?
I think that's really great. And the thing that I'm learning about today is love. Okay? Yeah. In order to have love for others, you have to have love for yourself. So for me, was just someone who loved fully and completely, right? Loved my family, loved my brothers, loved those that were around me, because that's a reflection of how much you love yourself, because that's all you have. It's temporary. By the way, we're all going to fucking die, right? Yeah. So it's like, that's what I would like to be known for, that I was a student of life and finding love.
Amazing. Amazing.
What was the second thing?
The second thing is, the higher you go in business, the more pain you're going to feel. It's just binary. Elon Musk said it best. You don't want my life. You don't want my life.
People always say that.
I have 8,000 lawsuits. I'm running and it's for him, it's, I don't know why. Like, if you had 50 million liquid, your house paid off, you know, you have 3 cars of your dreams, you have kids already, you settled that, like, you checked all the boxes, like, why go for 500 million? And so, but the point I'm trying to make is that with every level, with every decade being a human on Earth, it is painful, and everyone will experience pain of pretty great magnitude unless you are a hermit. I want you to define resilience. What does it mean for Eric Brody to be resilient? Please define that phrase.
So first and foremost, I would say there's this great saying in Bushido, which is life in every breath, right? So the real truth is you only have the now, okay? So the resilience, let's just say resilience, is going to come to you from the external environment. Things are going to happen. And then the question is how you act within that breath. So to me, resilience is to be okay in discomfort. You're going to be uncomfortable in how you continue to forge ahead, because you know what? You have no fucking choice. So do it with grace. Know that everyone is looking for their peace. Nobody has solved the equation. Maybe if you're Buddha, Jesus, or someone in the Torah. Otherwise, nobody has figured it out. Not the billionaire, not the guy on the street, no one. So you're all right. You're in good company.
That was a clip. That was it. If there was ever a clip, that was it. Eric Brody, how do people find you? Thank you so much for coming on to the $1 Billion Club. How do people find you? What are your...
This is how you find me. E_Brody Instagram. Eric Brody TikTok. Eric Brody LinkedIn. YouTube. Eric Brody. Just E-B it, son.
E-B it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is episode number 3. Let's give Mr. E-Breezy a round of applause. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate it.